Welcome to the Show Me the Shift podcast with Coach Lenora, certified life coach, HR certified professional, international best-selling author, and creator of the Victorious Movement. A members-only community where she coaches her members from stuck to action and from scarcity to abundance in the areas of mindset, goal setting, and monetization online. The Show Me the Shift podcast was created to encourage future entrepreneurs that they can step boldly into their purpose by hearing the stories of others who have paved the way. Here is our host, Coach Lenora.
Hey everybody, been on today. Oh, hold on. Bear with me. Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. How are you today? Let me see if I can get that to pause.
Certified
Because it is doing something a little crazy with my media today. All right, pause that. Hi. Hello, everybody. It's so good to see you today. I don't know exactly what happened with that, but I am going to go ahead and continue to get started because you know what? Technology. That's all I'm going to say. Technology. It happens. And so today we're going to be talking to DeKesha Williams. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and bring up her photo for today's podcast. And just to give you a little backstory and introduce DeKesha, DeKesha is your online business strategist and webinar queen. So she is driven to help entrepreneurs master the art of launching and scaling profitable webinars, systems, and six-figure launches. So she is a mompreneur. She is a proud sports mom who has turned her career setbacks into a thriving lifestyle business. And she does all of that while staying true to her passion for empowering others. And so what makes DeKesha different is that she's going to simplify those complex strategies into actionable steps for entrepreneurs to help them to really achieve that consistent 5- and 6-figure launch that they want to have, as well as she utilizes her unique blend of strategic vision and hands-on implementation to ensure that you get the results that you want. So DeKesha really believes that helping entrepreneurs thrive is more than just a job. It is her absolute calling. And she is just passionate about empowering businesses to maximize their potential with intentional strategies and proven systems. So on that note, let's go ahead and welcome DeKesha to the stage. Hello, DeKesha. How are you today?
Hello. I am blessed and unstoppable. How are you?
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being a part of the Show Me the Shift podcast. And one of the things that we like to do is just focus on that shift from being an employee to shifting into an entrepreneur. So I know we read your bio and found out a little bit about who you are and your background, but tell us a little bit too about that shift. Like, what were you doing and how did you shift to becoming the amazing entrepreneur that you are today with a very thriving business?
Well, sure. I love that. It did not start like that. And I have, the best way for me to tell you is how the shift happened, right? Because a lot of times I tell everybody I'm the entrepreneur that's on leave of absence, still on leave of absence. And so it started with me driving up 95 North. So if you're from the East Coast, 95 North goes from Key West all the way up to Maine somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm on 95 North in between Richmond, headed to DC because I was currently a district manager of 13 locations. And so I would have to visit my locations at least once or twice a month. But my chest started to get super tight one day. And I had to pull over on the side of the road. And I was super afraid. I felt like I was having a heart attack, to be honest with you. But once I got myself back together, I went on, about my visit. And I did this for about 7 years before I actually went to see a doctor to find out that I was dealing with panic attack disorder. And people just using the word disorder is like, what? And so, yes. And so I realized that I was finding ways or reasons why not to go to stores. And it was because I was afraid to drive because of an accident from 2007, right? So I went on leave of absence, #longest leave ever. And I went on disability. It was long-term disability. Well, in the midst of that, the company went out of business. And so I had
Mm.
nowhere to go back to. So imagine now I'm at this place where I was getting a check. The check stopped after about 2 years. Now, my kids were 5 and 6 when I started this journey. So they were getting ready to go into school. Who's going to buy them back to school supplies? By this time, I'm separated from my husband. All right. So it's just me. And I'm like, Lord, I can't buy my baby shoes. I can't buy my baby a backpack, pencils, pens, or whatever. But let me tell you something. I am a woman of resilience. I wish you would tell me what I can't do, because I'll show you how I can. Okay. And so I ended up being online. This is kind of when like live was becoming a thing. And actually, y'all, it was Google Hangout. Okay. And so I met this group of guys, and they hired me to teach people how to do webinars and make 6 figures from their business. And I said, cool, give me a little change, start figuring out this digital marketing thing. But then I said, wait a minute, I'm not making 6 figures in my business. How am I going to teach somebody how to do 6 figures in their business? The way my level of integrity is set up, that just didn't work for me, Lenora. It didn't. And so a teammate and we went out and did 8 webinars in 30 days. 8 webinars in 30 days. We ended up generating $15,000 in commission. That's when I realized, oh, wait a minute. This could actually work. Yeah. Like, imagine if I didn't have to give that 60% away and I kept 100%. That's when I created my very first course called Webinar Success Blueprint, where I started to teach other entrepreneurs how to generate leads and create consistent revenue using webinars and workshops in their business. And fast forward today, my t-shirt says, a job can give me stability, but my business can give me freedom. Yes, hashtag the webinar queen. Okay. So that is what brought me here, where I am about 14 years later. We are an award-winning digital marketing agency. Okay. We have received an award for multiple 6 figures in our business. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. So we've got some great things that are happening. So excited to be here. But trust and believe, I did not wake up one day and be like, oh my God, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to own my own business. Absolutely.
That is not how it happened. So it really was a blessing in disguise in a way that the company that you were working for went out of business, because if you did have a way to go back, well, let me ask, do you think you would have?
Probably a couple of years later, and one of those times where I said, Lord, give me a cubicle because I'm over this. There's been several times where I'm like, you can just give me a job. I'm done.
Yeah, it's less hours.
Yeah. Other than that, probably not. Once you have the freedom and the flexibility to make your own schedule, especially with young kids, and all the things that they're in, and I mean, like when my kids were little, like I was room mom. Like I was a room mom. I used to go in at lunchtime and sit with the kids and read. Like I was that active mom when my kids were in elementary school. Right. So again, yeah, I was that mom. So knowing me, I probably wouldn't have given it up. I'd have figured it out some kind of other way.
Right. Yeah, that is funny how you just get this different mindset and then you're just like, I can't give this up. Like no matter what, like I'm going to figure it out and make it happen. If there's any way possible to make it happen, doing what we need to do to make it happen. Yep, absolutely. Okay, great. And so you realize that, okay, going back to the 9-to-5 isn't a possibility. Now it's time for me to get into this new business. So it sounds like you didn't really know it was going to be about webinars. It just was something you stumbled upon. And I think sometimes people feel like well, I'm supposed to know that I know that I know that this is what my calling is, that this is what my purpose is. But I feel like a lot of times things just end up happening where it's like, oh, I really enjoy this. I like this. This is what I can do, and I can be really good at it. So, for your particular journey in regards to now being known as like the webinar queen, how did you get to that level of love and understanding of webinars? From I haven't even done it myself to now I'm the queen of it.
Oh, okay. I felt like I was frozen for a second.
Yeah, it did seem like that.
But truth be told, I own 2 or 3 businesses
Okay.
prior to me stepping into webinars. Like a lot of people don't know that I had an online shoe company called Sassy Shoe Gallery. And so I
Oh,
sold shoes locally here in Richmond, Virginia. We also had a website, and then we had an Amazon store as well. So that was one of the first, for me, that business was a completion business. A lot of times we do things to prove to ourselves that we can see it through. And that's what the shoe company was for me. And so, oh, there it is. I was looking over here for the sign. If I remember, I have to show y'all my sign, my logo. I paid a lot of money for this logo, y'all.
yeah, show it for sure.
Listen, okay. I was looking, I was like, I know it's around here somewhere. So can y'all see it now?
Oh, it's kind of going in and out a little. Oh, yeah, there it is. Sassy. I see it.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, the laces are the words. Oh, I like
Sorry,
it.
I try to show you as much as I can. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that was one of my very first brands. And so I actually received funding from the SBA for that brand new company. Then I started writing business plans. Oh my God, I hated writing business plans. I cannot stand trying to get somebody to visualize where they want their business to be. So I can't write your business plan for you. And that's how I started consulting. And so I remember to this day, my very first client is here in Richmond, Virginia. She paid me like $300 an hour just to do consulting for her.
Oh, awesome.
It was $297. I remember
There you go. Yeah.
but that's how I started to develop what it is that I like and what it is that I don't like. But I love teaching, right? I love teaching. I don't like implementing on the behalf of other people, but I can teach you what you need to implement. And so the webinars just became a thing for me because it was a way that I could make money from the comfort of my home. I had the opportunity to be a keynote speaker, but in my previous job, I was already traveling from Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Maryland, Northern Virginia. Like if I was not on a plane, I was on a train or I was driving.
Okay.
So I didn't want to go back into a space as a keynote speaker where I'm having to travel 2 and 3 times out of the month just to make money.
Right.
No, when I can sit here and have a 10K launch in a weekend from teaching 5 days a week and then doing a webinar at the end of the week, I'll take that any day. I'll take that
that's a
any
really
day.
good point. Yeah.
And I can do my webinar at 7:00 at night. Now, what's really funny is between both of my kids, their bedroom is like right across the hall because this has been my office pretty much the entire time. So my daughter knows like my webinar presentation, like some of my one-liners, she knows my one-liners.
Right.
So there's a benefit. So I was hoping it's like a legacy thing where I could like pass it down to her. Yeah. No.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So, but it does go to show too that kids are always watching and they're always paying attention to what their parents are doing. Right. And so, do you think that they're getting any of that entrepreneurial drive of not necessarily wanting to work for a company or corporation because they've seen what mom's done?
So, it's more so in my son. My daughter is picking it up now. So, like my son, he cuts hair. So trying to get him to get like his license, but he's in college. So, he does cut hair. He does photography. He did a photography class in high school. He's been on jobs with me where he's done the videography for me as well, and was, of course, compensated as an employee of the consulting company. My daughter, on the other hand,
let me make a note to that too. I think a lot of people don't realize you can hire your children when you are self-employed to be contractors in your business. And a lot of people with a lot of wealth do that all the time. So just keeping that in mind too, that is something that is a thing and that you can do.
Yeah. So even during COVID, when, because my daughter was in college during COVID. So when she had to come home, we hire her to write SOPs for the company. And so what's funny is, she puts it on her resume because she did work for the company. And so she does understand what standard operation procedures are. And so it's really funny to have her go into job interviews now, and they'll ask her about, her work experience. And she's like, I've developed processes and SOPs and systems for Visions Consulting. 9 times out, nobody knows that's her mom's business. But at the end of the day, it makes me feel good to know that I gave her a skill set that she can take out into corporate America. And so, and she can use that to her benefit. Even though she's trying to step into the interior decorating space. So she's halfway done my office. So we're not done yet, which is why we're not showing it yet.
I love
she's
that.
halfway done, and she's done a phenomenal job. And so looking forward to the end result, and we'll share that with you guys.
Yeah, I was going to say, and then that's another thing she can put in her portfolio is that she created this space, from an interior design perspective. So it's definitely things that can make her stand out from the competition at such a young age.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. And so when it comes to this entrepreneurial journey that you've been on, and you've spoken to it briefly, but I think this is a part that really makes a lot of people uncomfortable, excuse me, with even the thought of stepping out into doing something on their own. But what was that hardest part for you regarding the security or the interpretation of jobs having security? Because I feel like with AI out here now, everybody is thinking they have security, and maybe they will, maybe they won't, who knows? But a lot of people are like, no, I'm not going to leave this good job, I'm going to stay until retirement, I got my good benefits, all of those types of things. So
that's a good government job.
the old-timey things that your parents and grandparents always say: go to college, get a good job, get good benefits, work for the state, all those kind of things that people would tell you. But like you were not getting that steady paycheck. You were not having that security. So what part of that was the hardest, and how did you kind of get past that?
It definitely was not there in the beginning, especially as you're like building a business. So it becomes very frustrating. I'm going to be honest with you. It can smash your confidence, right? But one thing that I have learned is that you have to stay consistent. And I always say that giving up is not an option. And so one of the things that I realized once we found that thing, and again, I had to get into spaces where I could learn. So I had to get into the space with people that are already in this space, who are doing the daggone thing, who are where I saw myself wanting to be. I think that was very important for me. Even today, even right now, like being in a space with people who are making 7 figures, 8 figures, like just to see them come back to our calls and they're like, yeah, we did $24,000. We did $80,000 this month. That lets me know that it's possible for me too. Yeah. And so one thing I would say is you have to put yourself in a space with people who are doing what it is that you want to be doing in your business. You cannot seclude yourself, especially in entrepreneurship. This is a lonely place to be. And especially if you are working out of the privacy of your home, you're not necessarily working in an office, it can become very lonely. And your thoughts and your vision are limited to you. especially if you're working by yourself. So you're not going to see beyond what you see. You have to get in other spaces so your visibility goes beyond you and your immediate circle. So if, you know, and it goes back to the closest 5 people that you talk to every day. If those 5 people that you talk to every day have a job, guess where your mentality is going to shift back to? Oh, well, maybe I need to go get a job too. No, I'm going to go hang with the people that's making $1 million in their business so that I can see what is it that they're doing different from me that I am not on pace to make $1 million. Oh, okay. Now that I've been in their space, I really see it's not as hard as we think it is. But the thing about it is, number one, you have to be consistent in showing up, consistent in implementing, and then you have to be consistent with the visibility and getting in front of new people. You know, it's so funny, Lenora, when I go back to my YouTube page or I go back through like my LinkedIn and I see some of these old videos from 7 years ago and 9 years ago, I'm like, oh my God, look at me as a little teeny entrepreneur. But you know what? My coach had to tell me that validates that you're not new to this space.
Yeah.
That validates that you've been around for a minute and you're still here talking about same thing, helping people do the same thing. So that means that you are doing something right, that you made it through all this time and you still out there showing up.
Yeah, I love that. It's so many gems in what you just shared. I mean, like, because it's reminding me of a few things. One is that, right, you're not supposed to be the most successful person in your circle, first and foremost. You definitely should not be. And you should always aspire to want to not just see what the people are doing that are successful, but also what do they believe? Like, what is it that they're believing about the possibilities, about their next step, about their journey, about what's going on with what it is that they are doing? Because those beliefs are what, like you said, when you're alone and you're having these other beliefs of it's not working out, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, the imposter syndrome starts kicking in, all those types of things. It's like, well, wait a minute, let me get around some people. And what you might find, as you said, it may not be as hard as you think it's going to be, but what you might find is that, wait a minute, they're talking about that. I was talking about that 5 years ago and they've made how much? Like they're like, wait a minute, hold on. Like, okay, I'm so far beyond that, but I've let my limiting beliefs hold me back from thinking that I'm ready. And, you know, what does it say? Done is better than perfection. Like, just get it done.
Absolutely.
Like,
I tell people all the time, we launching dirty. Yeah. We launching dirty. And I'm okay. And I am okay with it. I am a recovering perfectionist. Okay.
It's hard.
They laugh at me all the time because they're like, oh, you don't know you're a perfectionist. I'm like, no, like it's me. Like, what are you talking about? But I like things a certain way. They're like, yeah, that's the perfectionist piece. I go, all right, well, let's launch dirty. We launch it next week.
Yeah. I love that. Launching dirty. I love that because one of the things, and I'm recovering in still motion, you know, perfectionist. And one of the things, I was literally in a training this morning and they said, good enough, like launch good enough. Like they were like, don't launch perfect. Whatever it is that you have from idea to doing it, do it where it's good enough. You're always going to have better iterations. And what they brought up was like, nothing is ever launched at perfection because nothing would ever get launched. So therefore, why do we have iOS 26 that just came out for iPhone? Is because it's always going to be another iteration. It's going to keep getting better and better and better. So if you at least start with what was iOS 1, I guess, and then just say, okay, well, in 6 months, then it's iOS 2. And then in 2 more weeks after that, it might be iOS 3. So just realizing that perfection is not anything to strive for when it comes to business.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I love that. All right, excellent. And so now how do you handle the pressure of building something from scratch? Like when you first got started, you may not have felt like you had all the answers. How did you go about handling that? Because I think that's something that a lot of newbies struggle with.
Use what you have. Truth be told, especially like a lot, they'll tell you need all these tools and all these systems and all these processes. When you're
Mm-hmm.
starting out, don't just start with what you have. If you got MailChimp, you got AptCampaign, like use what you have. If you got Keep, then use Keep. If you got High Level, use High Level. If you don't have any of it, then okay, just launch and do it manually. But what I don't want to see is that you delay your success or delay your blessings, because now we start to use it as an excuse not to move forward. Oh, well, I don't have, and this goes back to the perfection. I don't have this set up and I don't have that set up. Let me tell you something. There's times where I will go live and do a launch and I don't have a sales page. All we have is an order form. That's it. That's all. As long as we have a way to collect payment later. What? That's all we need. And the other thing now I see people send out stuff in a Google Doc. They don't even build landing pages no more.
No, they don't even build websites anymore. They just have Google Docs that they talk off of. And I'm like, wait, I was building a whole presentation and you're just talking off of a Google
making me pages from scratch. It took me 2 weeks. And you mean to tell me you launch it from a Google Doc? Yeah, like don't overcomplicate don't complicate a simplistic process. So if you want to launch and you want to get a program out there, if you have to go live and pitch from that live, then so be it. If you have to use Zoom and you use Zoom, not Zoom webinars, then so be it. Just start where you are. Like at least you're doing something, or you're doing more than what you would have done had you done nothing. And that's the most important piece, because the beautiful thing about what it is that we do in this digital marketing space is that once we build it, we can keep building upon it. And so once you create the foundation of what it is that you desire, all you're doing is creating a foundation, and you build layers and layers and layers. And it goes to what you were saying about the iOS. So when we first launched the Webinar Success Blueprint back in 2018, the next time we launched it, it was Webinar Success Blueprint 2.0. All right. So what we made changes to some of the content. We may have updated the landing page. So every time that we launch, we implemented a change, not many, but we implemented a change. So every time we made it better, but we launched.
Right.
And that's why over the last, I don't know, eight years, maybe.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I can't count
7, 8 years. Yeah.
Yeah. The last seven, almost 8 years, we have used several launch mechanisms that have generated over $10,000, which is what led to the book of Launch Strategies. Those strategies did not get in that book if they did not generate $10,000 for us or for clients. And that's exactly why we put them in there. And then we lay out what it is that you need to do so that you can launch from where you are. And we give you like the tools and the systems that you need and to be able to have what we consider to be a profitable launch. And so I think a lot of times where we make mistakes as entrepreneurs is that we compare our year 1 to someone's year 12.
Yep.
So you have someone that just they're thinking about leaving their job, or they may have just left their job, and they're looking at the Russell Brunsons, and they're looking at Dean Graziosi,
Alex Hormozi, or somebody.
Yeah, you want to do an Alex Hormozi launch, and I'm like, yo, like this dude spent what, $40 million?
He spent, I think it was 40 or 60 million. Yeah, something crazy.
Like you got to start with your $4,000, okay? And that's kind of like, it's a comparison thing, and you cannot do that. You cannot compare your year 1 to somebody's year 12. And the other thing that I tell people is don't compare yourself to other people anyway, because you don't know what they got going on in the back. You don't know if their business is debt heavy, because when they had them PPP loans out and people are building a business in debt. No, you be careful who you out here trying to mimic, and because it's not safe. Don't do it. Do it at your
Yeah. What's meant for you is for you, and there's plenty to go around. There's plenty to
Absolutely.
go around. I love
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Okay. Well, as we've been talking, and okay, we've both been in this space of webinars and launching and all of that for a while, but there may be some people who are like, they're using terminology I don't even understand. Like, I don't know. I'm a barber and I don't know what a webinar is. I've never been on one. I've never seen it. I'm not in corporate America. Or launching what is a launch? So can you just give
Right.
a little bit of history of what those two things are? Because it could be that people want to use your services for those things. They just didn't know how to verbalize what it was that they were looking for.
Yeah. So, and then this is funny because this weekend, I kind of broke down what it is that I do so that I could give it to like my daughter and my friends who are like, what is it that you do? Because I meet business people while I'm out, and I know that you probably can help them. So I broke it down and I told everybody, I said, listen, here's what I do, right? I help coaches, consultants, authors, and speakers and service-based professionals. If they want to do an online presentation to get their message in front of a larger audience, where they're not speaking one-to-one, they're speaking one-to-many. Several of you have probably opted in at some point in time where you have put your name and email in to watch a training online. That, my friend, is an online webinar. All right. Now, back in the day, we used to use Google Hangouts or conference call, freeconferencecall.com. But webinars have elevated to the point where not only is it audio, but it's video as well. So you can show your PowerPoint. You can be on video camera like this, or you can turn your camera off and teach. So that's what the webinar is. But what it does is it drives traffic to you based on your messaging versus you having to go out all the time looking for leads. And it's really, like I said, it's really great for service-based professionals, whether it's doctors who are educating about skincare or educating about, health and wellness, and tax professionals, financial advisors. Like, there's so many. Think about all the times that a financial advisor has called you and wanted to talk to you about your policy, right? Now, what if you saw something that says, let me show you how your money can make money for you while you sleep? And you might click on it. And they can do a presentation that talks about IULs and educate you on what that is versus having to sit through a one-on-one conversation. Because I told my person, I was like, listen, when I see your number, I dread it. I'm not going to even lie. He's like, are you serious? Yes. Because it's not my language.
Right.
It's his language. I'm like, just show me how I can make money. What you want me to do? Just send me the paperwork, right?
Yeah.
And people do that to me. But again, if he had something or, where it shows, like, let me show you, this is hypothetically speaking, based on what your policy is, you'd be surprised. And if you say at the end of that, how many of you would like to have a conversation on that? You could get 7 appointments.
Yeah. That's such a good point. Like, to educate. Just to educate and then get your appointments on the back end of the education. And I think that is right. And I think that's one of those things where people who are in those professions don't even think that they can do it any other way than one-on-one. Like, I have to cold call people or call people. I have to go to their home. I have to meet with them. But they could be doing webinars, educating people. And on the back end of that, because I know, like, for example, full disclosure, you and I met for lunch. You had just finished talking to a room full of real estate agents.
Yep.
And when you said that at first, I was like, real estate agents webinar, what in the world could real estate agents and then I was like, oh, wait a minute, like, I didn't even finish the sentence because I was like, oh, of course, like, why wouldn't someone who's a real estate agent want to hold a webinar and share information and educate people on the home ownership process and this and that, and it's so many things that are scary to, if you are in a profession where it's scary to people to think of how they would handle, like, oh, buying a home, there's no way I could afford it. I don't have $20,000, $30,000 in the bank. I don't have it saved. But they could tell you about other ways and financing and other things. So, yeah. So when you were sharing that, I was like, wow, like, yes, everybody could utilize a webinar.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. We just had a realtor in the Florida area. He did a webinar where 300 people actually registered for his webinar. Wow. I think maybe 30 or something showed up, but he had 4 appointments the next day and another 2 from the replay.
See,
So
there
think
you
about
go.
the time saved from outreaching, cold outreaching, follow up on my emails. No, you just create a platform where you educate them on the process and they'll come to you. They'll
Right.
come to
And
you.
that's the thing too, is somebody could look at that and say, this was a failure. I had 300 people who said they wanted it, but yet they didn't show up for it. But now you have their contact
I was gonna say, they're
information.
in
Now
your
you can
database.
email them. They're in your network now. So you have the email sequences that you can do. You have it where, I mean, some people, I was listening to a call last week and the guy said, all right, I have been doing this for 12 years. Like I have been doing Facebook ads. I've been doing, emails and sequences and landing pages since they started doing landing pages. I've done all of that. And he was like, and there's one person who's in this class. And the very first time he's worked with me is this class, and it's been 12 years. So he has been getting things for 12 years, but it
Wow,
took him
that's
that
a
long before
long
he
journey.
I know, but
That's
that
a
was just
long
the
customer
rarity of it,
journey.
right? Is that normally it'll be so much faster than that. So don't ever see anything. If you capture the lead, it's not a failure. Put it that way. Like you never know when that time that you send something is going to be the time that it's
Yep.
going to speak to somebody and make them say, oh, yeah, this is the person that I need, or they refer you or anything. So it's so many different ways that all that can be beneficial. So no,
And it
that's
goes
what I'm
back
saying.
to
You're just dropping gems. It's making me think of all these different scenarios.
well, what you just said reminded me too, because I had kind of this revelation about a week last week, and I actually wrote about it. And I just said I've been doing this for about 7 or 8 years, teaching webinars, right? And so I got tired of talking about webinars. I'm like, nobody wants to hear about webinars. Clearly, the people are tired of talking about webinars. No, DeKesha was
You were
tired of talking about webinars. Okay. And so I wanted to move to a more advanced user or a more advanced client. And I had that moment where I realized, I said, you know what? It was me. There's still people out there that are wanting to learn how to use webinars in their business. And as soon as I put that post out there, I shared that moment. Someone subscribed to the newsletter and was like, I'm so glad that you came back to us because I've been on your list for years and I wasn't in a position, but now I'm in the position where I am ready to use them. So imagine if I would have been still tired of talking about webinar.
And it was right at the time when people are ready to talk about webinars.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Very, very important. So
very important.
that's
Yeah. I mean, that's what
stuff.
I was going to say. That's why Tony Robbins still talks about the same thing now. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like I had one of his like Awaken the Power or Giant Within or whatever one of those CDs was, right? And so I'm listening to it and the audio and all of that. And then just earlier this year, he had like a 3-day conference. So I'm listening to it and I'm like, okay, I haven't listened to a Tony Robbins CD in a minute, but is this the same story of how his dad couldn't afford Thanksgiving and the people came to the door with the Thanksgiving meal and he ended up, I'm like, he's been saying this story for 30 years, but it worked. Like he knows what works. He knows that this is the emotional story you tell. So that way, when you go and talk about the power that people have within them and how he decided that he was never going to have a Thanksgiving with his family, that he couldn't afford to put it, like the whole thing. So, and I was just sitting there like, wow, so much of this is exactly the same. And he'll add in some new elements. So he's probably got his version 26 of this story and his version 27 of that story. But the foundation is the foundation. So that's pretty wild and awesome at the same time. So back to the entrepreneurial journey. And okay, what is it that you wish somebody had told you before you became entrepreneur? What is it that you wish, like, y'all ain't warned me about this? Like, why didn't anybody tell me about this part of the journey? Because this is what I really would want to know. And for somebody who's thinking of it, it'll be a great tidbit for them to know.
Which part?
It's more than one thing.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's so many lessons on this journey.
Yeah.
I would say launch faster.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk 100% about what launching is, but launch
So
faster.
to your point, launching just means opening enrollment where people can come and work with you. So there's a sequence of things that happen. It could be a 12-week process. It could be an 8-week process. It could be a 4-week process. Mine is 2 weeks, only because I've done it so much that we've nailed it down into a 2-week time frame. But I teach all of my clients how to do it in 12 weeks, right? So that means they launch once a quarter. But the goal is to launch faster. And that's what I wish somebody would have told me sooner. Once we found the one thing, which was webinars, keep launching it. Like don't just launch it every quarter. Launch it as fast as you can, as much as you can.
Yeah.
And every time put it in front of new people. That's how you grow, and you grow faster.
Right. Because the launching is okay, you're talking about this. You're talking about this. So you can talk about something now at your stage, and 2 weeks from now, it's taking place. Whereas for somebody newer, maybe it needs to be 8 weeks, because you have to talk about it and get out there, and people don't know you. They don't like you. They don't trust you yet. So you have to keep out there.
They're still building. Like we said, they're probably building a page and, putting together some of the systems in place where emails can go, because you want to make sure that you're collecting information. Well, see, someone like me, I have that stuff set up, but I give the process for people that do not have it set up. And so that's one of the things that my goal is, when they come into my space, they need to be doing some type of conversion event within 90 days.
Got it. And then it's a turnkey system where, okay, let me step into the framework that DeKesha has, and then step right into that. She already has the funnel. She already knows like what kind of payment processor stuff. She can help me with all of that so that I can get there faster than trying to do it on my own, looking at YouTube videos.
Then there's that.
Sorry, I had to put that out there.
Then there's YouTube Academy.
Yes, YouTube Academy is where, I still have to go there from time to time. So it's a lot of things.
Good. I go there. Like I went there this weekend for Substack. Okay. But that's for Substack. Like that's for high level. Like I'm not on YouTube trying to learn how to grow my business and how to launch.
Right. Like, that's not what you should do.
I'm not trying to get strategy from YouTube. Like, no.
I'd rather get it from ChatGPT than to get it from YouTube. And I wouldn't do that. I'm just saying I would rather. But yeah, no, I totally get it, because you're right. I was just on Go High Level trying to find something for a post that I was trying to figure out how to create a thank you page and my landing page and all this. And I was like, somebody talked about it, but they didn't give you the step-by-step process. So I had to go look for it, So, it's going to happen where you have to go out there to our YouTube Academy from time to time. So, all right. And so the other thing I wanted to say is, so when you have stepped into this world, right, were there any, and I think you've kind of talked to this a little bit too, but any limiting beliefs that you had that you knew you had to overcome in order for you? Because you even mentioned a moment ago, like, oh, sometimes I was ready to go back to a job. Like sometimes there's a lot that comes with trying to, because you're building up a foundation of a building, and you have to, of a business, and you have to think of it like a building, like a home, like you're building everything brick by brick, and often alone, because you're starting it as a solopreneur. So I guess I'm saying all that to say, like, what limiting beliefs did you have to work through that other people might be thinking through themselves and not even wanting to get started because they know, I'm not going to ever be able to get there, but they know they have a purpose and a passion, and people are waiting for them to step into it so that they can be blessed also.
Oh, so many beliefs have come up for me over the time. There were battles with money, battles with financial belief, battles with, battles with even making over $10,000 and $20,000 a month. Like, I know that probably sounds like really weird, but it is. Like, there was a battle when we hit 10 years in business. I went out and bought a car. Mind you, it was like my second car in 2 years. I didn't need it, but it was like, you know what? You've been in business for 10 years. And if you look at the statistics, most businesses will die in the first 3 to 5 years. Yeah. So the fact that you're still standing here in 10 years, that is a moment of celebration. Okay. So there were money blocks. And those money blocks can cause you to not take action in your business. You have to be careful what you tell yourself, the stories that you tell yourself. I remember when I left corporate America, I used to tell myself, I just want to make enough money to pay my bills. And without even realizing it, I was self-consciously blocking my ability to make more and do more. Then it was, oh, I just want to make $100,000 in my business. Well, why are you limiting yourself on what you can or cannot make? So you have to be very careful of the language and the language that you use from out of your mouth, because what you say out your mouth, you start to believe it, especially when you hear it enough. And so now, especially when you use the word only, and even now when we're like, well, we want to do 500,000. Why not 1 million? Why not 1 million? Why do you think that your business is not capable of making $1 million? Why do you think your business is not capable of making $2.5 million? Because all you have to do is implement the action steps that you do for $100,000, $200,000, put the right people and processes in place, and then you can go to 1 million, 2.5 million.
Scale it up. Exactly.
There's steps to this. There's levels to this. But number one, you have to believe that it's possible for you too. And you also have to believe that you deserve it.
And that's the part that a lot of people, I'm a life coach. So that's the part that I think is the biggest challenge for most people, is like, who am I to think that I should be able to make $1 million? Who am I to think that I deserve X, Y, and Z when this is how I started out, or this is what my childhood was, or this is what happened to me, or this? It's like all these different things that people tell themselves. And I'm like, look at Oprah.
Well, and a lot of times some of us are the first in our families to do things like this. Like, I think we had family in the country, because from the country, but I think we had family in the country that had like a convenience store. But no one who really had like an online business or a digital marketing business, right? So I am probably the first. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of my family probably have no clue what it is that I do. And all they can tell you is that she has a business. Clearly she makes money. She works for herself. Like she works for herself. She makes money. She's not out on the street.
I'm guessing she's successful because she's not on the street.
Oh, she just got this award, so she must be doing all right for herself, right? But they have no clue of what my day-to-day looks like.
Right.
They don't, they may not know. And this is just people outside, period. They don't know we have a team of 12 people that work with us on a day-to-day business, a day-to-day basis. But a lot of people don't know that. And they don't know how many clients, they don't know how we serve clients.
Right.
We have a whole virtual assistant company that a lot of people don't know that I kind of call it white label it, but it's mine. But it's branded so that you don't know who owns it.
Got it.
So we can sell it.
There you go. See, that's the thing, that those are the types of strategies that people don't realize are even available or out there. It's like, you can build something up and sell it for millions. And so many people do that. I think people think like, oh, well, if you're doing an Uber or doing some app or doing, like something super duper major. But it's like, no, if you're doing something that is making waves and something that people are finding out about and want to be a part of, or just don't want to do it themselves and they just want to buy a turnkey business or a turnkey process, then and it's out there for the taking for anybody who takes the time to work with the right people to learn how to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. All right. So we're getting kind of close on time, but I just have a couple more questions. And then I want to give you the opportunity to share just how people can connect with you, find out more about you. I know you mentioned your book, so making sure people can know how to get that and all these wonderful things. So, but I just want you to talk a little bit, like, let's just talk about the dream, right? Because there's a lot of people, and I feel like especially Black women, who are burnt out. Like they're working jobs, they're burnt out. They're like, I don't care anything about this company, what they do, how they're if they make their budget, if they don't, just am I getting my bonus or whatever the case may be.
Yes,
I just feel like so many people are just burnt out. And so based on that, speak a little bit too, what does this freedom feel like for you? I mean, yes, it's hard work being an entrepreneur, doing everything and managing a team of 12, but at the same time, there's some freedom that comes along with that. And so what does that feel like? And what is that experience for you?
Ooh, so I was gonna say, don't get it twisted, because it's hard work over here too.
It's hard work.
Okay?
Yeah.
And sometimes it could be a daily battle, a monthly battle. But when you sit back and you look at it, it's yours. You built this from the bottom up. I also see legacy. I see legacy for both of my children. And right now, this time of year is football season.
Yeah.
And so every weekend this was the first game that I did not make, and I beat myself up about it all week long. We're not going to talk about that. Okay. But I needed to rest. I've been to Nashville. I've been to Orlando. I've been to Greensboro twice. Now watch this. You asked about freedom. Earlier this year, I had clients come into the Richmond, Virginia area. We did a 2-day intensive where they came into Richmond and they said, "Dee, we have to do this again before the year is out." And I said, "Well, it's football season." Mm-hmm. They said, "We'll come to you." I said, "You're going to have to come to Greensboro, North Carolina." They said, "Okay."
So here we go.
And literally what I did for them, I ended up doing a 2-day event in Greensboro, North Carolina. I had someone that flew from New York to come and spend 2 days with me. And we both agreed that we would end at 4:00, not 4:01, but 4 p.m. And even one of my clients went to the football game with me.
Oh, so that's definite freedom.
Yeah. So that's
where you were going to be. So that's where everybody had to show up. Yeah.
And so that if I had to say that's what it looks like, that's what it looks like, because I can take my business wherever I'm going to be. And when you have a strong base, they go where you are.
Yes.
And I don't take that lightly. I do not take that lightly. And we had a great time. We were able to, hang out. They actually got to meet my son. So the group that came to Richmond, that group met my daughter because she was in town.
Okay.
Now the group that came to Greensboro, they met my son, and they were like, "Is he going to be able to find us?" Because the office space that we were in, long story, but we could get into it. Honey, we went to go get breakfast. He showed up right at the restaurant. Of course, he has my location.
I was going to say.
I was like, "Oh, trust me, he's gonna find his mom." At 11 o'clock, he was like, "My mom is somewhere in Greensboro, North Carolina.
I'm gonna find her,
and I'm gonna find my mom." So it was, it's one of those things that, because I've been in business for so long, people have followed my kids, not only through their collegiate time, but also their athletic careers. Because you may know, but a lot of people don't know, my daughter did collegiate gymnastics as well. So a lot of people have seen her throughout this journey, but also me traveling, okay, January through April, and building a business while supporting my kids. And now here you come, August through November, here comes football season. It's like, well, dude, when do you work? When do you get to work? And that's
like through all of it
where I am now, because 90% of my focus is in growing my business now, and I love it. There are no distractions, nothing. We even work 4-day work week sometimes with the company. So And that's the thing too with the freedom, because had you not decided to have your own business, you may not have been there for more of those games and more of those events, because you may not have been able to get that time off from a job and still, in their eyes, been a productive employee, right? So you having that freedom helped you to be able to navigate that as well, which is it's powerful. It's scary, I think, for parents to think, especially young ones like you had, that I can do this, but
the other side
I
to
don't
it
know what I was thinking.
is,
I think I was crazy, Lenora. I really do. When I
but
sit
you
back
know
and
what
I
I've
think
come to
about
realize?
it, I was 27. Okay. I was 27 years old when I had my son. And 2011 is when I left corporate America. And
Yeah.
so when I think about, my daughter was 11, my son was 5. Like
Yeah.
as I was starting on this journey, he was starting into like kindergarten.
Yeah.
So his whole time in school, I've been at home, like both of them. Like I've been self-employed, I've been at home. And there were good times, there were bad times. And Lord knows, don't get my daughter to look at this because she's like, Jaden got the best part of mom, and he got the car, and da 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 da.
Oh yeah. Well, look, it doesn't matter because I still do that with my sister, and neither one of my parents were entrepreneurs. And I'm like, well, you got the nice shoes and the
Oh
jeans
yeah,
while
oh
I
yeah.
was
So
off
you know
at
the sibling
college. And
battle. And she's
so
like,
it
well,
doesn't matter.
I didn't, I had an older car and he had a
Yeah.
car when he had his license. I was like, no, first of all, I didn't buy him a car. He inherited my car because I bought him.
There you go. Yeah.
There's a difference.
That's too funny.
So yeah, it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing.
Good.
I encourage anyone that is thinking about doing it, stepping out. I would say build while you have an investor. That's what we call 9-to-5s.
Yes.
So if you can
invest in
build while you
yourself.
have an investor, build up a client base before you take that leap. I would strongly suggest that you do so, especially because if you're building without an audience, it takes a longer, especially if you're doing organic methods and not paid method.
Yeah.
It is a long game. That's in for the long game. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Both spaces have their pros and cons, but like you said, at the end of the day, I have the flexibility to, if somebody says, hey, what you doing in 2 weeks, or what you doing tomorrow? Let me check my calendar.
Yeah.
Oh, I can make it work. And that happened last year. I had a cousin who was like, listen, they bailed out on me. I'm going to Naples, Florida. You want to come? Yeah, put me in. I'm buying a flight. Let's go.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's right. Like, and then you get to make that choice, not someone making it for you, where you're like, oh yeah, I can move some things around. I'm there. Yep, exactly. I love it. Well, thank you so much, DeKesha, for coming on to Show Me the Shift and sharing your information. Before we wrap up, is there any product, service, opportunity, anything that you would like to share with the audience so that way they know how to connect with you and potentially be a part of a future webinar or your next event?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, plug. You have to get the latest copy of the book of Launch Strategist. Strategy is what we've been talking about today. So I'll make sure that Lenora has a link where you can get access to this book. And I'll go ahead and sign a copy for you. Strongly encourage you to, if you're looking to generate leads and consistent revenue in your business, we have a free training. It is www.createconsistentleads.com, www.createconsistentleads.com. Please follow me on all social media platforms. You can find me. It's at DE_Kesha, or just Google the Webinar Queen, and I guarantee you'll find me. Webinar Queen.
Excellent.
Be passionate, be purposeful, but more importantly, be profitable. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And yes, you put into the comments, well, at least I see something here that there are comments about the createconsistentleads.com. Someone else was like, yes, home ownership. Thanks for talking about that. Yeah. Oh, okay. Your daughter. Okay, great. And then someone else was just wishing us a happy afternoon. So on that note, thank you all so much for participating. I'm going to do my shameless plug, as I always do, for the Victorious Movement. It's my online community on the school platform. You can use the QR code here in order for you to be able to join a community of like-minded people. Some are business owners. Some are just people who want to focus on having the right type of mindset as they are just going through their daily lives and going into I hope everybody has an amazing rest of your day. Thank you for participating, and we will talk soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.